Hey, check up. Let's play some D.
Welcome to episode 44 of Play Some D. Your boy, Coach D, is hosting this joint once again, live and direct. But no, let's forget all about that. Let's forget all about that. Yeah, this 44, and today is all sports, man. This is probably what I envisioned when I started this. I don't know how many episodes I've done where I've had three. I don't think I've ever had four sports topics. I don't think I ever will. I'll have to go back and look, but I don't think I've ever had four sports topics or five. I haven't done overtime in a while. I probably could have did overtime today for sure, but there is no overtime. But I don't think I've ever done four sports topics. But today is three sports topics. We'll talk about NFL free agency just popped off, and we'll talk about the top 15 coaches of all time, NBA head coaches of all time. Obviously, what I'm here for, what this Play Some D44 could be actually is March Madness time. So I'll be picking that bracket coming up here. And happiness. I'm gonna talk about happiness. Cool article about the hidden cost of happiness. And I'll just throw I'll sprinkle in my goodies as I always do. I mean, that's just that's how you gotta do. You always gotta have your juicy on top of it for sure. For anyone watching that's new, this would be Play Some D. As I mentioned before, we do four topics in four quarters, and they range. They range from everything: sports, music, movies, TV shows, political news, topics, favorites, top tens, rankings, just all kind of stuff. I mean, variety is the spice of the life. That is the theme of Play Some D. Variety is the spice of life because it really, really is. No variety is just so boring. But sports is just so darn good. I really wanted to review Batman, but I'm just really haven't seen it yet. But when I do see it, I will review it. But I'm dreading the 3 hours. I'm really dreading the 3 hours. It's almost you gotta have like preparation and Lord knows you don't have to go to the bathroom, during it. It's like who wants to miss, you don't really I don't like to miss. I don't like when I'm watching something, I don't like to miss nothing. I don't like to miss nothing. I don't wanna be trying to figure something out, putting clues together, or miss some dialogue that was important and miss out on that. So I like to see everything. But once I do see it, I'll review it. Uh, Next few weeks, I'll definitely have seen that. As always, if you don't mind, much appreciated. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you know when these videos drop. And also them shorts be banging, some bangers. Them shorts be bangers, and also the quarter coverage. Hit that playlist, quarter coverage playlist. So yeah, let's hit this baby off, man. I don't really want to waste too much time here. We're going straight into the bracket and how I want to do how I normally do these brackets. Let's see how close we can get that looking. Yeah, look about right. Wish I can get rid of this goofy part of it, but whatever. So this is not research. I mean, I don't even need research. I mean, I probably won't do too many brackets. This will probably actually be my official bracket. And for the most part, I've seen almost all of these teams play in some capacity, not in total. I haven't watched a whole game in New Mexico State, but I have seen them. I've seen just a tiny bit of UConn, honestly. They came across the screen. I watched a little bit of them play. Most of these teams I have seen play, though. And then I do have my info here that'll give me that'll give me a little I don't really want to go into diving into stats and getting real deep in it because no matter what you do, you're probably going to pick this baby wrong, right? Last year I did run through the statistics of like what seeds normally win and over, but then I guess I feel like that threw me off last year. My bracket last year was just god awful. So I just feel like I just want to go off my gut and then with just a little bit of just statistics. I normally like to break it down to like where they're playing at, and this year I just don't think it matters. I think a lot of these teams, I think a lot of these teams are very very. I think it's good parity. I think anybody could beat everybody, especially once we get down to like the Sweet 16 and stuff like that. I think it'll be like who gets hot. And then I think better players will help, but a lot of these better players haven't been on this stage before, so it'll be tough. But let's get it moving. Actually, this is the West. Okay, so yeah, the East is down here. So yeah, that scroll will work. That'll look fine. So obviously Gonzaga and Boise. Gonzaga is gonna win that game. We're starting the West region. I'm gonna try to breeze through this. I don't want to be all day. I think Boise State can really win this game. Boise State probably will win this game. But I'm going to go with Memphis. And I'm only going to go with Memphis because this game is going to be so much fun, I think. I do think Gonzaga will win, but I think Memphis really, really could win. UConn, New Mexico State. I'm taking New Mexico State here. And I just think they'll be ready to go. I think they'll be ready to play. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to take New Mexico State. I'm taking Arkansas here over Vermont. Even though Vermont could easily pull this one off. Like I said, it's going to be real close. Also, I don't think they have it here where we can pick the play-in game because this matters. And I did this last year when I picked the games is that I think it was a UCLA. I think UCLA was in the play-in, right? And I didn't pick them to win the play-in, and then obviously they got to the Final Four. So Alabama's better than Rutgers and Notre Dame. I'm going with Alabama. Texas Tech is rolling. I like Texas Tech. Michigan State and Davidson is gonna be super interesting game. Super duper interesting game. I'm gonna go with Davidson. And then here I'm gonna go with Duke. I'm gonna stay with Duke over Davidson. And then I'm gonna take this is a tough game. I said once we get down here, things start to get real sketchy. I don't think Duke comes out of whoever wins this game though, honestly. We're going Gonzaga. And I'm going Arkansas. I'm going Alabama. I'm gonna take Bama to beat Duke. Actually, I don't think Duke can lose. I actually think Duke can lose to Michigan State. Actually, Duke can definitely lose to Michigan State. But I'm gonna take Davidson there, and then Arkansas Gonzaga. Believe it or not, I don't think Gonzaga goes all the way. I'm going Arkansas here. Then to win that game, Arkansas, Alabama. Alabama's nice, man. I just don't know if they're going to catch fire. They don't play D. I watched Alabama a few times. They just don't play D. But you see they beat Gonzaga. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Alabama. I think they're gonna be real. I'm gonna take Alabama to the Final Four. Arizona's balling out of their minds. Seton Hall. I've only seen, actually, believe it or not, I haven't seen Seton Hall play at all. I did watch a little bit of TCU, and with that being said, I'm gonna take TCU. Here I'm gonna go. Actually, I should. Actually, let me. Okay, I can't pull that back, huh? I can't pull Bama back. I need it for my shorts. But no, whatever. It's cool. Let's Final Four. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Houston and UAB. Houston be playing some D, man. Houston be playing. I mean, Houston be locking up. Illinois and Chattanooga. Never seen Chattanooga play. Illinois, I'm not buying Illinois. Either way, whoever I pick, I think Houston's going to beat them. But I'll stay Illinois. I can't believe Michigan makes this tournament. Colorado State throttles them. Tennessee and Longwood. Loyola, Chicago. I'll take them over O State. And then Villanova. Then Villanova wins. Give me Colorado State. Tennessee, nah, I'm not rocking with Tennessee. We go Houston. We go Arizona. I think Arizona comes out of this banger. I do think this is a 1-2 here for sure. They're the best two teams unless just something weird happens. I think they come out. Baylor and North Carolina will be one of those games right there. Yeah, see, that's why I don't like doing a bracket now, because I think what is this? This is Wyoming. Let me check this play-in game. That's Indiana. Yeah, that's Indiana and Wyoming. I think. Man, I think Indiana beats Wyoming, and I think Indiana beats St. Mary's. Indiana beats St. Mary's. That's what I'm going with. This one, I'm gonna go with my Zippies. I'm going with my Zippies. I'm Akron Zippers. Texas, Virginia Tech. I'm going Virginia Tech. Going Purdue. I'm going San Francisco. Kentucky. Ivy. Ivy plays for Purdue. He's a really, really good player. Going Indiana. North Carolina, Baylor. I'm going North Carolina. I'm going Purdue. Kansas Jayhawks. They are bowling. Go San Diego State. We go Iowa. Iowa's got some hoopers, man. Let's see. I'm going San Diego State. We're going LSU. We're going Wisconsin. We're going Miami. I'm going Auburn. Ooh, this is a tough one for me. This is a tough one. I'm going to go Wisconsin, Iowa, Kansas. This is going to be just one of those. I think this is going to be a really excellent game. Give me Auburn. Give me the Jayhawks. And then for the Final Four. So my Final Four goes a little something like this. Alabama beats Arkansas to get in that baby. Alabama is going to play Purdue. Arizona and Villanova are going to battle like none other. I'm going to take Jay Wright and the boys to come to the Final Four in Villanova. Kansas and Auburn. I'm rocking with Auburn to come out of here. So we got a 3-6 matchup and a 2-2 matchup. I like Purdue. And I'm going to take Auburn. And I'm going to say Purdue wins this baby with a score of 74-70. And that's a banger. I ain't logged in, but I have to log in, but that is Z picks for the Z boy. That is the final four in New Orleans. All right, so that's quarter number one. It's quarter number one. Sexy, sexy. All right, so for quarter number two, we are going with the NFL, the NBA 15 greatest coaches in NBA history. We got Red, we got Larry Brown, Chuck Daly, Red Holzman, Phil Jackson, Casey Jones, Steve Kerr, Don Nelson, Greg Poppy, Big Pop, Jack Ramsey, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, Jerry Sloan, Eric Spoelstra, and Lenny Wilkins. I don't have any contest to this list. I really don't. There is some interesting. I'll run off a couple stats in a second, but as far as you could maybe argue Bill Russell can be on there. You can maybe argue maybe George Karl. I thought Rick Carlisle was an excellent coach, but maybe he shouldn't be on there. Yeah. I think the list is right. So we got, obviously, Phil Jackson will rank obviously number one. His 11 NBA championships. Don't really have to talk about anything else, regardless if you had some of the greatest players ever. And I think that's a little bit added pressure, so you still got to get it done. Red Auerbach had 9 championships. Same thing. He's number 2. And then everything else from here, you can argue Pop may be better than Red. Red did have incredible. He had really good teams back in that era. So you can argue that Pop is a better coach. Pop does have the all-time wins now, so you can definitely argue Pop over Red. Pop has 5 championships, but it's really just hard with 9. And I don't like the championship argument with coaches not actually getting out there and playing, and it's all kind of in the shadows of what they do. I think you have to championships kind of weigh a little bit more, and I think for the players, because it's more of a team sport, and it's hard. There's not many statistics that you can have for a coach besides coach of the year, all-star game, head coaches, and championships, and wins and losses. I guess those are really, the stats are very, very marginal compared to what players do on the court. They're dynamic with defense and offense, and the stats it's not as many stats. So I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think Pop is still 3. I think he is behind Red. I'm sorry. So then after that, it gets kind of whatever. Pat Riley and Jerry Sloan would then go next for me. Jerry Sloan doesn't have any championships, but I would put Jerry Sloan over Steve Kerr as far as a ranking goes. Red Holzman would probably sit at somewhere around 7. Casey Jones, you could argue he may been a little bit better coach than Red. Chuck Daly can go anywhere on this list. I thought Larry Brown was an incredible coach. He did only get 1 championship, but maybe he's better than Chuck Daly. That's that championship thing again. Eric Spoelstra has 2 championships. He had a stacked team. I think he falls further on this list because he actually should have at least 3. He really should have 4. That whole Miami, those 4 years, he should have won every single year, specifically the first 3. So he should have 3. So I think that's a knock on him. Lenny Wilkins, I think he's a better coach than Eric Spoelstra, in my opinion. Doc Rivers is the one on here that I just don't think he's a really good coach. I absolutely think Don Nelson's a better coach than Doc Rivers for sure. Jack Ramsey probably is too. I think Doc Rivers is way overrated. Yeah, he'll probably break the record. I don't know how long Pop will coach, but Doc he'll probably run into being up there as all-time winning coach and, wins when it's all said and done, he'll probably get a lot. I thought Rick Adelman was a solid coach. Doc already has 1,027 wins. So, not that many more seasons, and he'll be running behind Pop for sure and Don. So, that's why Doc gets up there just because the wins. But I just, he has always had good players on his team and not getting the most out of him, in my opinion. So, I think he is top 15 at least after. I would really like to see what happens after this season. If they make a deep run in the playoffs, I would be more willing to put him in there. But I think he's, regardless of him, and I think Doc is 15 or 16. Wouldn't argue with putting, like I said, not Rudy Tomjanovich. He just got too many wins. Dick Motta has 937 wins. George Karl, I wouldn't be mad at this moment in time to put George Karl over Doc, honestly. But I wouldn't, I'm not tripping with Doc is over George Karl. So either way, that is top 15. I just wanted to highlight that. I kind of looked at this a few times. I was like, I kind of want to get this in, play some D at some point, but it's here. I got it in second quarter. And these are the 15 greatest coaches of all time. Like I said, only person I would really, really argue that could be moved around is Doc. And as far as ranking, I think Jerry Sloan, he was defeated by, Michael Jordan was in his way and a couple other really great players that caused him not to get championships, because if Mike wasn't in the way, he would definitely be top 4 for sure. And I definitely think he's the better coach than Steve Kerr. So that is second quarter. And for halftime, as always, I don't have anything. I don't have anything of substance. But for third quarter, I have some substantial. So third quarter is all about NBA. Second quarter, I said NFL. Third quarter, I said NBA. NFL free agency period just popped off. More so wanted to talk about, I'll get these out the way, is that last week I talked about the QB moves. I thought Russ would get traded if everything happened super fast, and it did, but I don't think he was disgruntled. I just think they worked out a deal, and he took it. Denver Seahawks swap, I just think it's silly. I would have not have accepted that. I'm not going into division with Patrick Mahomes and Herbert. He's basically hoping they get hurt. That's pretty much what he's hoping for. Maybe they get hot. Maybe they run off some wins and they sink. But, that's just so unlikely. And his receivers, he's got a downgraded receivers, but he does get an upgraded running back. So maybe that helps. Defense is decent. But, you're just playing against two of the best quarterbacks in the game in your division. And I just feel like it was better places for him to go, where he could have had a softer landing in terms of making the playoffs and cementing his legacy. Now he just has to work much, much harder, and I just don't think he is as good as he used to be. But we'll see. A change of jersey, change of scenery always, mixes things up like that. The Colts got Carson Wentz, which is not even worthy talking about. Chargers getting Khalil Mack is pretty crazy. If Khalil is still able to ball. Super shocking that Aaron went back to the Packers, but maybe, everybody kind of knew what he was doing. He was trying to, get that big old deal to give him more money going to later on in his career. So smart move by him, but I just would have rather seen him go somewhere where it seems like he was happier. But, man, I guess money can make people super, super happy. Well, we're talking about happiness here in fourth quarter coming up. But money can make you, can change feelings about different things. And Green Bay they've been winning. So as long as he's been around, as long as he's been healthy, they've been winning. They got two solid running backs. Devontae Adams said he's not playing on a franchise tag, so I'm sure they'll work something out, and they'll be all right. They'll get out there and compete again as long as Aaron Rodgers, performance doesn't fall off a cliff. And then obviously the big news was Tom Brady coming back. Totally not shocking at all. It's kind of smart by him. It's weird. I mean, I would call it. I mean, you're too old. I mean, not too old, but he's done everything, and I would just want to relax if I was him. Maybe call some games or help some young players become better quarterbacks or something like that. Get back to the game. I just don't think it's nothing left but something bad to happen to him, and I hope nothing bad happens to him. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I hope he has a good season, but I just can't believe he comes back. But it totally makes sense because that division stinks. They have no quarterback, so it's almost like a walk in the park to get to the playoffs and maybe he gets another championship or at least gets another shot at it. So that is totally understandable. As far as some of the other big things, Chargers got J.C. Jackson. They re-signed Mike Williams. The Chargers are going for it, and rightfully so. They should. Carlton Davis is staying in Tampa Bay. Signed a 3-year deal. Hopefully he stays healthy. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson situation looks like he'll go somewhere. He'll probably get some kind of suspension from the NFL, which totally makes sense. Get that. The Cardinals signing Christian Kirk to a ridiculous deal is wild. It's just wild. Debo's going to get crazy money at some point here from the 49ers, but I guess they got to do something with Jimmy first. I don't know how that all works, but Debo's going to get a lot of money. Christian Kirk to the Jags is just wild. Mike Gesicki stays with the Dolphins, which is smart. And then keep, solid tight ends, man. It's just hard to find solid tight ends these days. You got to keep them. I would never get rid of tight ends of fantasy too. Any dynasty, fantasy, or fantasy pick up tight ends early. They can cost you. Dolphins is like they're getting Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys. Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of Cowboys, the Cowboys traded Amari Cooper to the Browns. Good pickup for the Browns, but the Browns did cut Jarvis Landry, which was interesting. But I could see that. Bobby Wagner being cut by the Seahawks was unbelievable. I mean, that guy is really, really good. I think you have to, even if it's a 7th-round pick, I don't care what it is. You have to get something for that man. And he looks like he has a lot more in the tank. And that's just unfreaking believable that they just dropped him for nothing. So the main thing was those 3 quarterbacks. And Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins went back to the Vikings, and I think pretty sure I predicted that he would end up back with the Vikings making a whole bunch of money that he's not worth. But you need a quarterback, and it looks like they weren't prepared or had a negotiation in place to land somebody. They didn't get any of obviously Russ or Aaron, or they probably can't get Deshaun. So they're probably like, we got to stick with Kirk. Matt Ryan's situation, they restructure something, so it looks like he might be staying in Atlanta. But the main thing was the Russ, that huge Tom Brady news, and even the huge Aaron Rodgers news. Like all 3 of those quarterbacks news is pretty big, and that really sets in motion everything else with what everybody else was going to do, especially with Tom Brady and the Bucs. They had a lot of players that would have been looking the other way if they're like, man, we don't got no quarterback, dog. Like, we don't got no quarterback. What are we going to do now? And it looks like I was reading that they were looking at Baker. And believe it or not, I'm not a huge fan of Baker. I don't think Baker can win you a championship, but he can manage the game. And I don't know. But him on the Buccaneers could have made some sense. And I'm a huge cold weather talker. I think guys play better in warmer weather. I really do. I think you just got better opportunity to play better in warmer weather. When they get cold out, it's cold, man. Holding that ball, throwing that ball, moving, getting tackled, hard, snowy, frozen ground. Like, no, but I don't know why anybody would want to play in that junk. Like, I would never want to play in that junk if I didn't have to. So, I think Tampa could have been a very interesting move if they was able to pull that off. So yeah, that's the free agents. Free agents as of Monday. So I'm recording this. That's the early news on that. So yeah, and then to close this baby off is happiness. A really cool article, Mark Manson from years and years ago, The Hidden Cost of Happiness. And in a sense, he's making an argument that everything has a cost. And I totally agree with that. You could be happy at no cost, but you would have to revert to like some kind of like crazy lifestyle where you're not dependent on anything like socially or monetarily or houses and kids. You would have to just literally be, to yourself. And obviously that's at a cost of getting, isolating yourself or whatever, putting yourself in a different situation. And basically saying that happiness is not free through a bunch of different things. One of this, he has a number list, and you must accept imperfection and flaws. You must take responsibility for your problems. You must feel the fear. You must feel the fear and do it anyway. That's number 3. Number 4 is you must find a deeper purpose to your actions. Number 5, you must be willing to fail and be embarrassed. And that's pretty much the 5 things. And I think they all touch on different things. And number 4, I kind of want to start it off with money, because in number 4, you must find a deeper purpose for your actions. Just being motivated by money for the sake of money, I just don't think that's sustainable for anybody. I know a lot of people at different various ages that just feel like money. Let me work. And I do think it takes certain things that happen in your life to realize that that's not the case. And sometimes that never happens for people, and they grab at the money. And as long as you're motivated by the money, chasing the money, if you never get to the ultimate goal of whatever you want that money to get for you, you'll keep chasing it, and you'll find happiness in moments. I think in doing it, like you'll find happiness, but you'll never get there. So you'll never find if that actually meets your happiness. But for most people, once they get that money or get a whole bunch of money, it's like, this money don't make me happy. I could do cool stuff with it, but the money don't make me happy. And I think that could take somebody's whole life to get there, and that would totally suck. But some people, obviously nowadays you can get rich or make some money relatively quickly. So, pulling that together, getting the cash, and then realizing it early, I'm sure everybody would love to find that out. The deeper purpose, as he mentioned, will motivate one through stress and fear, inevitable complications that a more superficial motivation would not. So I thought that was one of the top ones that hit me. Feeling the fear and doing it anyway, insecurities and doubt. To touch on all 5 of these things would be just really hard for somebody to do. And obviously I just feel like happiness and sadness and all that different things are not something you could sustain. I don't think you could be happy forever. Like, you're not going to be happy all day. You're not going to be happy all week. You're not going to be happy all month or your whole life. I think you find like pieces and parts of it that you have to, and sometimes people can't attack a certain fear, or something may have happened to them in their life where they can't handle doing that. So they may just have to, not be able to progress through certain steps to find that happiness. Taking responsibilities for your problems, that's just adult stuff. And I can see why. That's just like it's like just obvious. If you're not doing that, victims and those people that play the victim usually don't find that happiness. The beauty of accepting the imperfection of your own knowledge is that you can no longer be certain that you're not to blame for your own problems. Are you really late because of traffic, or could you have left earlier? Is your ex really a selfish a-hole, this is what the article says, or were you manipulative and over demanding towards him or her? Stuff like that make total sense. The first one, you must accept imperfection and flaws. And this one overall probably is the most important, especially in today's times with social media and, I don't know, mental health, body imperfections, people looking to be a certain way, whether it's overnight or after 2 years and they're still not there, or whatever the case may be, or surgeries, and men, women alike. You know, you just got to be able to accept that you're not perfect. You're not going to have what somebody else has, or you may have a little more, a little less, or that relationship isn't like that. Your car isn't that cool. Your house isn't that amazing. Your kid isn't that incredible. You aren't that incredible. Your husband's not, or your wife isn't the prettiest, nicest, giving, whatever. Just, all that stuff, you got to be accepted and understanding when you're doing something, when you're having friends, hanging out, or doing whatever, you got to accept that type of stuff. And I think that all matters, and not just your flaws, your imperfections, but everybody's that you're dealing with, or you filter them out of your life if that's not what you want to deal with. So that's totally understandable, where I think that this, is the most important. The number one, accepting your imperfection and flaws is probably the most important. And then, like I said, the idea of that deeper purpose, that's not something most people not getting in their 20s, maybe not even in their 30s. Then sometimes it takes something to happen to you, or loved one or whatever, for you to find that. The fear thing is a whole different. I just think that's a more of a variable, not, and one that just, I think you could get away with, but I think it could be totally important to understand, is you must be willing to fail and be embarrassed. It takes a lot for people to be embarrassed, accept embarrassment. Like, we'll be embarrassed or whatever and just shelter up or get mad or get sad, instead of just being like, man, yeah, I messed up, I screwed up, or that's wrong, or that's not right, or I did that, I really, whatever it was. Say you peed on yourself in public or something. Like, I mean, I did. Now, clean it up. We keep it moving. I made a mistake, or my bladder issues, or whatever. You just, it's not the greatest example, but that's something that people will be super embarrassed of. They peed on themselves in public, and just to be like, okay, I did that. Let's move on. And then failure. If, once again, adults not understanding the concept of failure, expecting you to always get a yes, never get no's, everything to work out, and when it doesn't, you're gonna be shot, sad, and nobody, yeah. So overall, I think finding happiness is totally, totally important. I think everybody should find their happiness in their spaces that can make them happy. Fun things to make you smile, laugh. I even think crying and being sad is important, so you understand that concept to compare them, and understand what you don't want to be sad, like a failure option, failure, and understanding responsibility for your problem. You want that stuff to happen, so you can find. You need a lot of stuff. I feel like in life, you need a lot of stuff to go wrong just as much as you need it to go right to really find where you want to go. I'm sure everybody's different. Some people could find that happiness straight off the bat, especially if you're digging for it from an early age. You're digging to find out what it is, and your life doesn't change. Maybe your life doesn't change that much. Maybe you find somebody that treats you great when you're 18 and you marry them, and I don't need a better happiness. It's always people like, well, what, you never tried it. I don't want to try it. I got as much as I need here, and that's totally understandable. But for some people, some minds, some thoughts is that you got to keep digging and keep digging. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You want to do it the right way. And obviously the expectations can't be all or nothing. Like if I don't find it, it's a failure. Like there's always some wins and some smiles and some laughters in the fight and the battle. So won't go on. I'm a big happiness guy. I love, I'm almost always, I try to stay with a smile on my face, stay in good spirits, because, things could be a lot worse, and things are a lot worse for a lot more people. So that's not always a way to look at it, but it can definitely help. So fourth quarter, that was fourth quarter. Yes, it was happiness, and this was Play Some D, episode 44. It's a banger. 3 sports topics. Did the bracket. I had Purdue winning that baby. Highly unlikely that's going to happen, but I had Purdue winning that baby. No number ones in my Final Four. 0. That's a good sign, for sure. Talked about the NFL free agency that just popped off. Talked about the 15 greatest NBA head coaches of all time, and happiness. Once again, if you don't mind, like button, hit the subscribe button, notifications, drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about happiness. Let me know you think I'll win the NCAA tournament. What player do you want your NFL team to get in free agency, or period? But as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and until the next time, holla.